So another weekend of British GT racing in the cold, in the wet and in the grey. Practice nearly at an end. What's been going on?
So this morning's been a little bit tricky. Yesterday was bone dry, weather was nice, and typical 2024, it's rained again. So this morning we just used it to get a feel for the brakes for qualifying, and obviously over the weekend. So we ran out on wets. The track's dried up, but we're actually going to save our tyres for pre-qualifying at 12. So we're having a little bit of a quiet morning actually.
Is it a bit tricky when, as a racing driver, you've got loads going on with sponsors and car setup, so to have another thing in the weather to worry about with tyres, like you mentioned, is that a bit of a worry for you?
Yeah, I think it's kind of racing in England or in the UK, you're going to get a lot of different conditions, right? So you've kind of got to factor that into your thinking. So no, I don't find it too difficult. It's quite fun driving in drying conditions with tyres that are going off and then trying to get onto slicks as early as possible. So I don't mind it. It makes for good racing as well. I mean, this year's racing's been pretty entertaining. Oh no, you've been blocked.
Mate, it's a tradition on the channel. If I had £1 for every time this happened, I'd have enough money to go race. Actually, no, that's a bit of that's too far. No, I still need a few more sponsors. But coming into the weekend here at Snetterton, what are the expectations for the 300 circuit?
I always like the track. It's always been a good track for me. So hopefully just stay out of trouble. The races can be slightly carnage here, being 2 1-hour sprints. So hopefully we can qualify well and have a clean race and see where you pop out.
With obviously the sprint races this weekend, does your mindset change at all as a driver when you've got different sort of race formats compared to other weekends?
So the strategy's different. So the pit windows are fixed instead of being, for example, in a 3-hour like Silverstone and Donington, where you've got a little bit more scope to play with the strategy. Here it's very much fixed. So you kind of know that you're going to be pushing until the pit window and then try and pit as early as possible. Obviously some people with pit stop penalties from success from the last round. So we've just got to be there or thereabouts come the first pit stop and then hopefully pick up some places at the stop and try and get a good result.
And what's the BMW like to drive?
It's a big bus, but it's actually surprisingly quite dynamic. The brakes are really good. Could do with a little bit more straight line speed this weekend. Struggling a little bit on the straight line, but it's a nice car to drive, very cool. It's cool that you can take the Fanatec steering wheel home and put it on the simulator, so that's quite cool. No, it's a great car. I've enjoyed driving it this season.
Obviously, there's a great variety of cars amongst all the GT3 and GT4 cars here. But how important is it to have a car that is good and adaptive around all circuits? Because you can't really compare Snetterton with Donington, with Brands Hatch, with Spa, etc., etc.
Yeah, of course. I think this car suited Spa quite heavily. The sister car won the race overall in GT4. So Snet, I think, doesn't play to the sort of strengths of the BMW so much. Being a little bit stop-start, the BMW likes quite a flowing, quick circuit, like a Donington, like a Spa, Silverstone. So I think we're going to be not on the back foot, but pace isn't quite where we wanted it to be so far. So hopefully, come quali, we can be okay. But we know it's a good race car, and it's always been strong and consistent in the races. So hopefully, that will give us a good result.
Yeah, absolutely. Best of luck. Thank you very much.
Cheers.